Hello everyone and welcome back to RIZE Racing League. We are starting our Division 2 season here. It is Season 2 with our Division 2 drivers, and we are kicking it all off here in the desert in Bahrain. We've got a fresh grid, some drivers from our existing lineup in Season 1, and a couple of new drivers who joined the front. We also have a few reserve drivers in the mix as well. It looks like we have some activity already here in Q1. We have, I believe it's Alpine. Yeah, Luxty in Alpine. He's first out on track, and there's a Red Bull. Count Dooku in the Red Bull just behind as well, just making his way through turn 1. So, like I said, we've got some drivers who are new to RIZE, and we've got a couple of existing drivers who are very strong as well. Nice mix down the grid, but should be set for an exciting race. Our reigning Division 2 champion, Lord Magnum, he was previously AlphaTauri, has moved to McLaren for this season, and he is partnered with Smokeman. So those guys will be in the McLaren. It'll be interesting to see what kind of form Magnum has in this first race. Can he pick up where he left off, or will someone else in the league potentially put him under threat? We know there's a couple of good drivers in here. RKA 25, who is also in the pits, is in the Mercedes, one of the strong drivers from last season. He definitely give Magnum a run for his money, but I think RKA actually joined halfway through the season, so just was a bit there wasn't really much he could do there. Let's go on board with Luxty as he is starting his flying lap, and Percy is already causing a little bit of a disruption there, but gets out of the way quite nicely to allow Luxty pass. He's got DRS here, so he's making his way down back straight. He overtakes Hans in the Williams, and from sector 1 into sector 2 Luxty goes, setting purple sectors as you would expect. He is the first driver out on a flying lap. So you would expect to see those purple sectors from the Alpine driver. So he's making his way now from sector 2 round into the back straight. He's going to get DRS assistance again. You see DRS is wide open there. It does look to be an Alfa Romeo just ahead of him there, but let's see if he will actually get to it or not by the end of this flying lap. Oh, going a little bit wide there, but keeps it just about within track limits. And fortunately for Luxty, that lap was not invalidated, so Randy does move out of the way there. And Luxty sets the benchmark. It is a 1:27.3 on the soft tires. We do have Count Dooku, who is about to cross the line here. It's a 1:28.3 for the Red Bull driver. A full second off the pace from Luxty. We've got a couple of other drivers who are on out laps. I believe Ross has had his invalidated. Smithy will cross the line. 1:30.3 for Smithy. Again, a little bit off the pace from where Count Dooku is, so he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to keep himself competitive here. Dirty Chewbacca, his Red Bull teammate, has crossed the line before him, using all of the track there, and crosses with the 1:27.9, good enough for P2 as it stands. And we do have our first retiree of the session in turn 1. You can see the Haas of Percy just pulled up there, right on the middle of the track, and Dirty Chewbacca has to take evasive action there to avoid hitting the Haas, which is parked in a rather unfortunate position. It does look like the marshals have cleared that up, and we can get back to normal racing. Looks like Magnum is on a flyer here now. Like we said, he is the reigning Division 2 champion. Season 1. Can he make it back-to-back wins here? He does set a purple sector one time. That's a fantastic effort there from the McLaren driver, as he is now navigating his way through Sector 2. He does have a little bit of traffic. 2 drivers ahead of him. I believe they may be on slow laps. Yeah, Ross looks to be going slow. Oh, both drivers going wide there. That is not what Magnum needs. That's going to have cost him a little bit of time after setting that purple sector one time. Not what the McLaren driver needs. But let's see, can he match can he match the best time in Sector 2? Can he set a purple Sector 2 time? No, he can't, and that is most likely down to the fact that he did go wide, and he goes wide again, and the lap time is invalidated. Unfortunate for Magnum, he's going to have to go again. On board now with RKA. Mercedes driver was previously racing for Aston Martin, I believe, and he has been upgraded into the hot seat. He is now in the Mercedes, and you can see he's just set a purple sector one time there. Does have a little bit of traffic ahead of him. Not sure who that is, if it's iZombie or Luxty, but one of the 2 drivers ahead of him. Yeah, it's iZombie. RKA now coming to the end of Sector 2, making his way into Sector 3. Does he get a purple Sector 2 time? That's the question, and he does. It is 2 purple sectors for the Mercedes driver. Can he make it? 3 out of 3 with 3 purple sectors. Looks like he might get a nice little tow here from iZombie down the pit straight. He's got DRS, he's got a little bit of a tow, and it's a 126.9 for RKA. Very, very nice indeed from the Mercedes driver. Looks like the rest of the grid have a bit of work cut out for them if they want to compete with that time. Now having a look at Infinite. Aston Martin driver heading down the pit straight, ready to set a time. It is a 129.1. Good enough for P9 at the moment. So drivers at risk as it stands. You can see we do have a couple of drivers still in the pits who haven't set lap times, done their body in the pits. RIZE Speeds also in the pits. His teammate obviously just set the fastest lap time of the session up in P1, so Speeds will want to get out there and try and get as close to that time as possible. Bucko, his teammate, did have a retirement there. Unfortunately, Bucko was on an out lap, but it does look like he's heading straight back into the pits again. Not sure what drove that decision. And then L Powers in the pits as well, with no lap time set as of yet. It does look like RIZE Ross is having a little bit of difficulty here. You can see the lap time that he has set, his fastest lap time is in the 2 minutes to a 2:22. So he's got a bit of work to do to try and get himself out of the danger zone. You can see that actually he has invalidated that lap attempt. And also looking at his ERS down in the bottom left, it's down at 6%. So potentially a trip to the pits is needed if he wants to recharge that battery before he gets going again. Although it doesn't look like he's going to do that. It looks like he's heading straight for another flying lap attempt. And actually it looks like the lap is still invalidated, so he's going to have to go again. Be interested to see. He's done 4 laps on those soft tires. That is quite an amount to be doing, and there's just 8 minutes left on the clock, so there is still time for us to go in and swap for a fresh pair of soft tires. That will obviously leave him one short for the future qualifying sessions in Q2 and Q3 if he does progress through. but he's already done 4 laps on the soft tyres, and Bahrain is quite intense track in terms of tyre wear. It looks like Ross is going again, and his ERS, he hasn't actually charged up his ERS. His ERS is now completely drained, down at 1%. So again, that's going to be costing him quite an amount of time, because he doesn't have the full power that the ERS system is giving him, the extra horsepower, the battery power. So as a result, he's going to be a little bit off the pace in comparison to some of his fellow drivers. He also is running now tyres that have 5 laps on them, but you know, let's see what sort of time he can get on the board here. And he goes wide again. Oh, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster of a qualifying session for Ross, as he has another invalidation. And we are now getting into danger territory, because Ross hasn't really set a competitive time yet, and time is running out. There is just 6 minutes left on the clock, so Ross still very much at risk, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. His teammate G Smithy is what it looks like he appears to be on a flying lap at the moment. And he hasn't found any time. He's up 1/10 on his time, on his best time. So he hasn't found any time in Sector 1. The question is, can he find any time in Sectors 2 and 3? He's got DRS down the back straight there. And he has found some time there, but he has also invalidated the lap attempt. Not exactly sure what happened. It looked like it went purple there in Sector 2, and then was just invalidated. So AMG Smithy will remain in P12 in the meantime, as he does look like he's heading now straight on for another flying lap attempt. His teammate RIZE Ross is now in the pits, so it does look like he will have some time to potentially go out and do another flying lap, but again, he's cutting it very fine. He's putting himself under a lot of pressure with just 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Now having a look at Bucko, who is also battling with the track limits a little bit there. Bucko MP14 at the minute is safe and will progress through to Q2, but very tight for the Haas driver, whose teammate was the first retiree of the session. And there's Thunder Buddy, who's had contact with Luxty and has a 5-place grid penalty. There's debris there on the track. Not sure what happened between Luxty and Thunder Buddy, but Thunder Buddy does have a 5-place grid penalty. Luckily for him, he is reserving tonight, so he will be pretty much starting at the back of the grid anyway, because he's filling in for one of the full-time drivers in Division 2. Just had a look. It does look like we missed Speed's flying lap attempt there, so he's got himself up into P4, his teammate up in P1. Not a bad attempt there from the Mercedes drivers, both in P1 and P4 respectively at the moment. And Bucko is on a flying lap again. And is into sector 2. Let's see if he can improve on his previous lap attempt. Now heading up the hill towards sector 3. Is he finding any time here? He has found 2/10. Fantastic effort from Bucko. Let's see if he can find any more. As it stands at the moment, that is not enough to make a dent in where he is at the minute. Can he find any more time in sector 3 to make the difference here? And he actually lost some time in sector 3 there. So Bucko, Haas driver, will remain in P15 as it stands. Rise Ross has found 25 seconds, which is exactly what the AlphaTauri driver needs. He's got time to find here in sectors 2 and 3. So let's see what he can pull out of the bag. Rise Ross up into P14. That knocks Bucko down into P16. Bucko is at risk as it stands and has a little spin out there. Burns out those soft tires. Alpars in P15 as it stands, but as he has retired from the session, hopefully that should allow Bucko up into P15, although I'm not sure that it will work like that. There we have it. That's the qualifying session over for Q1. Got Q2 and Q3 coverage coming up here. RKA 25 setting the fastest lap time of the Q1 session. It's a 1:26.9.
sports. It's in the game.
Okay, apologies for the delay there. We are back after a few technical issues. As you can see, Q2 has started. Let's just have a little look to see what is going on. So tire strategy is key here in Q2. It's all about what tire you're setting the fastest lap on, because the tire that you set the fastest lap on is the tire that you start the race on. And like I talked about earlier, tire degradation is really quite harsh here in Bahrain. I have seen people try and pull off at one stop, but realistically it is most likely going to be a two-stop race in this track. So just having a look at some of the cars that are on outlaps, we've got quite a big amount of the grid out on outlaps at the minute. No one on a flying lap attempt just yet, although it does look like Hans may be the first person to start, as he is going on the soft tires, and he starts the first flying lap of the session with DRS assistance down the pit straight. Hans makes his way into Sector 2. And as expected, it is purple sectors for Hans. He is the first driver setting flying lap attempts on track at the minute. He's making his way round to the final stages of Sector 3. Round that final corner, back onto the pit straight, back on the power, and DRS wide open. It's a 128.2 from the Williams driver. Just having a look at Infinite now, 128.5, very close between those two drivers. I believe we do have Smoke in the Alfa Romeo, who is on an outlap, just getting ready to start his flying lap attempt. As he crosses that line, we've got both AlphaTauris, RIZE Ross and AMG Smithy, both opting for that medium tyre. In the meantime, it's 131.1 for AMG Smithy, and for RIZE Ross, it is. It looks like he's actually starting his flying lap attempt. And Magnum with the 127.5 on the soft tires. Fastest lap time off the session so far. And Dirty Chewbacca does cross with the 127.9. Very, very close between Dirty Chewbacca and Magnum. Not really a lot in it there. Magnum's teammate Smokeman with the 128.2. Actually very close between him and Hans in the Williams. But you can see all these drivers that are crossing the line, all opting for that soft tyre, and this is where I'm thinking the likes of Smithy and Ross and actually RIZE and RIZE Speeds and RKA 25 opting for the medium tyre. They may struggle to get themselves through on the medium tyre, considering so many people have opted for the soft tyre, but it'll be interesting to see what these drivers can do. You can see both Mercedes, one after the other, on their outlaps. Okay, does cross the line there just to start his flying lap attempt. RIZE Speed's very close behind. I'm sure he was getting a little bit of a tow down the pit straight there, but it may slow him down if he's too close behind the Mercedes for the duration of his lap. But he is getting a nice little tow indeed down those straights, and you can see the Alpine of Luxty just moving out of the way as RKA 25 does set the fastest sector one time on the medium tyres as well. That is very, very impressive indeed. Let's see what he can do in sectors 2 and 3, and you can see that RIZE Speeds is a little bit further back there, but a little bit of late braking, and that does close the gap up. iZombie, Alpine driver, also off to the side there, allowing the fast cars pass down the back straight with DRS assistance and making his way up the hill. Let's see what time in sector 2 it's going to be for RKA. Is it another purple sector? Yes, it is. It's 2 purple sectors on the medium tyres. That is seriously impressive, and you can see RIZE Ross moving over to the right hand side to allow RKA 25 past. Oh, it looks like he did lose a bit of time there in sector 3 because he had 2 purple sectors, and in sector 3 RKA has dropped down quite a bit, and you can see RIZE Speeds is actually a decent bit off the pace of his teammate there, 128.9, so 9/10 of a second behind his teammate. That puts RIZE Speeds down in P8. So drivers at risk at the moment. You've got Shooter in the Ferrari in P10 at the moment. At the minute will progress through to Q3, but very, very close. And you've got AMG Smithy and Ross who are a little bit behind there on the medium tyres. Smithy having done 3 laps on those medium tyres. If he was to start the race on those medium tyres, I'm sure he would be feeling it in terms of the tyre wear, so potentially an opportunity to swap over to a pair of soft tyres. Oh, Ross has lost front wing there. Look at the amount of front wing that's been shed all over the track there, and you can see the AlphaTauri driving around with no front wing. Not sure how that happened for the AlphaTauri driver, but he will need to take a trip to the pits. Luxty has had his lap invalidated, but it does look like he's heading on a flyer. Let's see what he can do. Remember, he does have a 5-place grid penalty, so he wants to try and minimise the amount of damage that's going to cause to his starting position. If he can get himself through to the final qualifying session and qualify as high as he possibly can, that will limit the damage that penalty will have caused for the Alpine driver. He's making his way now through Sector 1 and into Sector 2. It's not a purple sector. Oh, it is a purple Sector 1 for the Alpine driver. Very nice indeed. Can he contest with Magnum for the top spot in this qualifying session? He is doing a brilliant job so far. Let's see what he can do as he makes his way down the back straight. He's got DRS assistance. And he's got a clear straight ahead of him. Oh, he's got a slow Alfa Romeo there. Oh no, he's spinning out, Ooh. And that was a purple sector 2 for Luxty, and he was doing a fantastic job there. And to be honest, he did a fantastic job of preventing the Alpine heading into the barrier. Does mean he's still in a bit of a tricky position here with just over 3 minutes left on the clock. Don't know that he's got enough time to head into the pits, but he is doing it anyway. This will have to be a quick stop if he wants to get in and go back out again to set a flying lap attempt. Just on board now with Smoke. He started a flying lap attempt on the Alfa Romeo, and actually we do have hands in the Williams that came off there in Sector 2. You can see the yellow flags just where Smoke is coming up to, and he goes massively wide, but he does not get a track limits infringement as he goes past somewhere where the Williams of Hans is. He was in P10, and unfortunately he won't progress through to Q3, and you can see Smoke is all over the show there. He spent more time off the track than he is on the track, and he does have a track limits violation there, so he will need to go around again if he wants to set a lap time. And actually Luxty, who was trying to set a lap time on the soft tires, is actually swapped over to the medium tires in the pits, but again he is running out of time. He needs to get out on track as quickly as possible, and it does look like he's making his way out of the pits now. He's going to be up against the clock to try and set a lap time. So we're coming to the end of our qualifying here. Luxty makes it in good time to start his flying lap on the medium tires with just 30 seconds left on the clock. He had a good attempt there on the soft tires and then just spun out at the end of Sector 2, so let's hope he doesn't have a repeat. There we have it. clock runs out. It's the end of qualifying. You can see a lot of the drivers were in the pits. So Lord Magnum and Smokeman McLaren 1-2 at the minute, and they will remain as is. Let's see if Luxty can contest. RK25 is out on the soft tyre, so he's abandoned the medium tyre strategy alongside Speeds, who also abandoned the medium tyre strategy. So the three drivers who are on medium tyres, you've got Smithy and Ross, who are well, Smithy's definitely eliminated. Ross does appear to be out on a flying lap just ahead of Luxty. Let's see what kind of time he can put in. Is it enough to get him into the top 10? He's heading into the pits. He's abandoned the lap. It's not good enough. What can Luxty do? He hasn't set a lap time yet. He crosses the line, and he's making that tyre strategy work. We've got two drivers in the top 10 on the medium tyre strategy, Dirty Chewbacca and Luxty, both on the mediums. That was a fantastic lap by Luxty there under pressure. No lap time set, and he gets it done, and he gets it done well. So that's our coverage here in Q2. We'll be back shortly with our top 10 shootout coverage and the final session of our qualifying. We are back with our final qualifying session here in the desert in Bahrain. 11 minutes on the clock. We've actually got 9 drivers instead of 10 because Hans in the Williams did he qualified 10th but DNF, so we only have 9 drivers out on track battling for pole position. Mercedes quick out on track. RKA 25, real contender for a pole position here, and he is first out on track. Wants to get a clear stretch of track so that he can maximize as much as possible from the lap. Most drivers are out on track at the minute. We do have Lord Smokeman, who is still in the pits, and Count Dooku in the Red Bull is actually coming out of the pits at the minute, and then the McLaren, the final McLaren Smokeman, is now heading out of the pits. So we've got all 9 drivers on out laps as we speak, and RKA25 is coming round onto the pit straight to start his first flying lap attempt of the session. And actually the timing of that might not be fantastic, because Smokeman's obviously just came out of the pits, and you want to make sure that he doesn't interfere with the Mercedes man's lap. And actually it does look like he's moved out of the way very nicely there indeed. No interference at all for RKA, as he is making his way now from Sector 1 into Sector 2. As you would expect, you've got purple sectors there. He is the first driver out on track. He's setting the benchmark for the other drivers. And up the hill, the Mercedes driver is going. Into Sector 3. Down the back straight. Final corner. Back onto the pit straight. He's going to get a little bit of DRS assistance here before he crosses the line. And what is the benchmark? It is a 126.9. Now let's have a look at. It does look like Magnum is starting his flying lap attempt. Next driver to cross the line will be Speeds. Where can he get himself? Can he get himself close to his teammates? 128. Looks he does jump in there with the 127, a full second ahead of Speeds. Infinite in Aston Martin is next across that final corner. Can anyone fight with RKA? Infinite at 128.3, 3/10 up on Speed's time. Magnum, previous Division 2 winner, he's right down there at a 129.9. That's quite a bit off the pace. It does look like he's maybe heading straight for another flying lap attempt. And Dirty Chewbacca crosses the line. He sets a purple Sector 3 time of 127.6 for the Red Bull driver. Very nice indeed. Let's have a look at Count Dooku, his teammate, who is going to be next to cross the line. DRS assistance, and he puts himself in P5 at 128.3 at the minute. RIZE Speeds is in a Red Bull sandwich. Sounds like his worst nightmare. And Smokeman, McLaren driver, heading down the pit straight, crosses the line. Up into P5 at 128.1. Where is his teammate Magnum going to put himself? I feel like he has more potential, but didn't really show it on that lap. Not sure what happened, but he is going on another flying lap attempt in Sector 2. What time can he find? He's already found 1.7 seconds. He's got a little bit of traffic. Infinite moves right over to the right hand side to allow the McLaren driver past on his flying lap. He's found 1.7 seconds. Can he find more time in Sector 3? He finds 2.3 seconds. It's a 127.6 for Magnum as he bumps himself up into P3. Luxty in P2 at the minute. That's a fantastic effort from the Alpine driver. Remember, he does have a 5-place grid penalty, so he will not start in P2 if that's where he finishes this qualifying session, but he wants to try and qualify up as high as possible to minimize the damage done. And it does look like we've got his teammate Zombie, who is still in the pits and hasn't set lap time as of yet. Dirty Chewbacca looking to go on another flying lap attempt. He's making his way from Sector 1 into Sector 2. It's invalidated. It's disappointing for the Red Bull driver. It's really not much in it between him and Magnum. Very, very close between P3 and P4. He's going to have to go again if he wants to improve on his time. There's less than 5 minutes left on the clock now. Dirty Chewbacca now heading on another flying lap attempt there. He's used up half of his ERS, but hopefully he's got enough to keep him competitive through this lap. And he's heading now from Sector 1 into Sector 2. He hasn't found any time there in Sector 1, but he can still find time in Sectors 2 and 3. Just got to get a little bit of DRS assistance down this back straight. You can see the sparks flying off the back of the Red Bull. It's a nice sight indeed. And up the hill into Sector 3, sets a purple Sector 2 time. That is very nice from Dirty Chewbacca. Unfortunately, he hasn't found the time that he needs to overtake Magnum yet, but can he find it in Sector 3? He set a purple Sector 2 time. He's crossing the final corner of his lap here, and he's making his way down the pit straight. He bounces into the pits there. He's obviously not happy with the lap time he was setting there. He knew he wasn't making any improvements. Makes sense to hop into the pits now. Maybe get a fresh set of tyres on if he has any available, and get out while there's still time to do so, because there's 2.5 minutes left on the clock. We're running out of time. Now, having a look at Magnum here, he's found a little bit of time in Sector 1. He's making his way now around Sector 2. And iZombie up into P3. It's Alpine, P1 and P2. Very nice effort from Zombie. Let's see Magnum. Magnum's lost some time there in Sector 2, so can he claw anything back in Sector 3? No, he can't, because he unfortunately gets hit with a track limits infringement. So he needs to back out of that lap, and he's going to have to go again if he wants to improve on his time. Speeds is looking to improve on his time. He does have some traffic there, and it does look like actually he's maybe settled for a slow lap in that case. And his teammate RKA is on a night lap as well. He's looking to secure his pole position. Luxty equally very close to RKA's time, and he's looking to improve on his time. We've got all drivers with the exception of Magnum and Smokeman and Dirty Chewbacca out on track. There is still time for these drivers though, but they would be pretty up against the clock. It does look like Magnum is staying in the pits, and same with Chewbacca and Smokeman. Looks he's going to kick us off with the final round of flying lap attempts. There's 50 seconds left on the clock. It's do or die for Luxty. Can he take pole position of RKA 25, or can RKA keep that provisional pole, or is there someone else in the mix here who can actually take it from both of the drivers? DRS down the straight here in Sector 1. Tight corner, tight right-hander, and he's making his way now from Sector 1 into Sector 2. Has he found any time here? He has not found any time. He hasn't lost a huge amount of time in Sector 1 there, but he needs to find time in Sectors 2 and 3. Looks like Speeds has actually went into the pits there, and he's not going to be setting another lap. So Speeds is settled for 5th place unless one of the guys below him can knock him off the 5th place spot. Luxty has set a purple Sector 2 time. Is this what he needs? Oh no, he goes wide. Oh, he goes wide. He was one of the only guys who could fight with RKA25 for that pole position, and it looks like pole position has essentially been handed to RKA25. Count Dooku has DNF coming up the hill there. Oh no, it's in such an unfortunate position as well. It's probably a bit of a distraction for Infinite. It's a last minute DNF for Count Dooku, who was looking to improve on his time. Can Infinite improve on his time? He's down in P9 at the minute with a 128.3. Has he found any time to make a bit of a dent in that and move himself up the grid a little bit? Ooh, up into P7. And that is the end of qualifying. We will be back shortly with our race coverage. And we are back with our race coverage here in Bahrain. You can see the predicted pit stop strategy just flashing up on the screen there as RKA25 leads us away for the start of the race. This is a formation lap just to confirm. You can see drivers are weaving from side to side, trying to get plenty of temperature into these tyres. Now, this is where tyre strategy does come into play. It's really interesting. RKA25 on the medium tyres. However, he does have from iZombie down to Infinite on the soft tyres, and actually that is going to be really interesting to see how that strategy comes into play. He's going to be under quite a bit of pressure from these drivers at the start. He's going to have to try and fend off and try and keep that P1 place. The question is, does he have the pace to do it? We'll find out soon. Some really fast guys here who are just behind him, likes of Zombie and Magnum. His teammate Speeds is going to look to want to get a really good start, try and get up there, try and jump the gun on Magnum or Zombie and be able to protect his teammate essentially. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens in the race start. We do have a couple of other drivers on the medium tyre in the top 10. The only other driver is Luxty on the medium tyre. Remember, he did qualify quite well up in P2, but he does have a 5-place grid penalty, so he drops down to P7. From King Smoke down to L Powers on the medium tyre. We do have Bucko on the softs, and then Lou Powers on the medium tyre as well. So a very split strategy between the drivers, so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out here as the race progresses. Then you can see RKA25 making his way down the pit straight now towards his grid box. iZombie's already found his space. He's eager, ready to get started. Thunderbuddy will round off the grid in P20 in the Ferrari. We'll be waiting for him to find his place on the grid, and then we can get this race underway. So it's 5 red lights we're waiting for here, and Thunderbuddy is set and ready to go. And it is lights out, and away we go. RKA already under pressure from iZombie. He does get a decent start there. Zombie is already putting some significant pressure on him there. We do have an Alfa Romeo who has went rogue there, and we do have quite a number of changes there. No yellow flags as of yet, and I spoke too soon. We do have Smoke, the Alfa Romeo, who was going rogue, and not sure what happened. We also have Lou Powers, who has gone off as well. No DNFs as of yet. We are still with all 20 drivers. Zombie just 0.3 seconds off RKA25. We do have yellow flags again. It's hard to keep up here. It does look like Luxty has dropped right down. Disaster for Luxty. Not sure. Oh, look at that. I'm not sure what Smoke's done. He's maybe had a smoke before he's decided to jump in that Alfa Romeo, because he is all over the place there. Luxty's dropped down 9 places. Really unfortunate for the Alpine driver. His teammate up in P2 battling with RKA25. RKA25's done a fantastic job in that opening lap of holding off the guys on the soft tyre. The question is here, we do have a DNF already. Hands. Virtual safety car. No. Disaster for the Williams driver. And that is our first DNF of the session. Only took 1 lap. Virtual safety car now to slow things down. And Zombie 0.5 seconds off RKA25. And we are into lap 2. We still have virtual safety car. It does look like Speeds and Count Dooku have both pitted there. Speeds is on the hard tyre strategy. That's interesting. It's an early pit stop for Speeds. Not sure if he has some damage there or if he's just deciding to go for a bit of a different strategy. Either way, the virtual safety car has left us now. iZombie is still chasing down RKA. 1.2 seconds between the drivers. It does look like RKA got a good getaway there after the virtual safety car. We've got yellow flags again. It does look like we've got a safety car potentially, or we've just got full course yellow flags for some reason. Very random. Full course yellow flags. Does look like all drivers are still with us, with the exception of Hans, who retired a little bit ago. There we go, Lord Magnum. What's going on here? McLaren driver has dropped right down 9 places. Seems like a lot of these drivers are a bit rusty. Luxty makes a double move there on Magnum and Bucko up into P11. He's trying to mitigate the damage from his poor start, and he sets a fastest lap time in the process. Smokeman is hot on the tails off Randy, who is up 14 places. That's a fantastic start for Randy, and Thunderbuddy up 13 places also. Off full course yellow flags again, and we're going green. Not sure who's bringing out those yellow flags. It's very strange. So Dirty Chewbacca has caught up to the back of iZombie, and it does look like RKA25 has done a fantastic job of holding off in those first opening laps. It seems like he was under a bit of pressure at the start, and actually he's extended that gap out to 1.4 seconds. And because he is on the medium tires, what will most likely happen is the likes of Zombie, Dirty Chewbacca, Randy, their tires will start to fall off a cliff, and actually RKA25 will be able to keep going on the medium tires. So it looks like he's in quite a safe spot at the moment, which is good to see. Oh, Dirty Chewbacca getting all out of shape there. That's cost him a little bit of time, but he is getting a nice little slipstream from Zombie, who moves over to the right hand side to try and defend off the Red Bull. And the Red Bull is very, very close now to iZombie. He is getting DRS now down this straight. iZombie moving out of the way again to try and defend. He's got the inside line into that corner. Zombie now moving over to the left to cover the inside line. Dirty Chewbacca is trying to have a look around the outside, but he backs off. He's not ready to make that move just yet, but he is putting iZombie under a serious amount of pressure, and actually what that's doing is extending the gap between RKA25 and iZombie, which is now up to 2 seconds. Dirty Chewbacca took a very nice line there. He's close on iZombie. Ooh, he's got the move on iZombie. He's up into P2. Zombie down into P3. Excellent move from Dirty Chewbacca, but it's not over yet. Zombie is using his ERS. He's going to get a little bit of DRS assistance down the pit straight. And he is gaining on the Red Bull of Dirty Chewbacca. He pulls out alongside the Red Bull and he gets the overtake back. This is a fantastic battle between these two drivers. Randy not far behind these two. 0.9 seconds between Dirty Chewbacca and iZombie. iZombie back up into P2 as we've seen, but Dirty Chewbacca is gaining after that little mistake from iZombie here. Oh, he is hot on the tails, and actually this is giving Randy an opportunity to get into the fight as well. He's within DRS range of these two drivers. He gets some DRS assistance down the straight. Dirty Chewbacca getting DRS on iZombie. iZombie is doing a fantastic job of defending. He's placing that Alpine in all the right spots to make it difficult for Dirty Chewbacca to get the overtake. And this is a fantastic battle indeed. Dirty Chewbacca gonna have a look again. Oh, iZombie trying to break the toe, but Dirty Chewbacca is getting one hell of a toe down the pit straight. Randy's also getting a toe, look at that. Oh, Randy jumps the gun. Oh, he goes right off track there. He has to rejoin track. Randy getting a little bit eager there. At one point he had got an overtake on both drivers and just overshot it completely, and had to back out and concede the places to iZombie and Dirty Chewbacca respectively. Luxty up into P7 where he started the race. He had a bit of a shocking start there where he dropped right down, but actually he's doing a pretty good job now back up into P7. He's under some pressure from Infinite and Magnum. You can see Infinite and Magnum both with DRS. Magnum's actually gaining on Infinite there. very close. Infinite's not gaining much ground on Luxty, however, but Magnum is very, very close to the Aston Martin. .2 seconds between these two. Magnum is going to have DRS assistance down the pit straight. Here we go, let's see what the McLaren driver can do. iZombie into the pits. He's dropped down quite a bit there and now he's taking a dive into the pits. And Magnum has went up a place as Infinite jumps into the pits. Infinite, interestingly enough, potentially looks like he's doing a bit of an undercut there. So let's keep an eye out for when Magnum comes into the pits, because actually that kind of strategy could pay off for Infinite and he could come out ahead of Magnum whenever he does eventually come into the pits. Magnum's battling away here with Luxty. Luxty on fresher tyres than the McLaren driver. That was a fantastic line that the McLaren driver took there. 0.4 seconds, 0.5 seconds between him and the Alpine of Luxty, as Dirty Chewbacca gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits infringements. And the question is, does Magnum potentially come into the pits now? Because actually what's happening is he's maybe losing a bit of time behind Luxty, because his tyres just aren't as fresh as Luxty's are. It's a bit more difficult, I think. I think he might try and hold it out. Does he? He's heading into the pits, right? So this is going to be interesting to see where Infinite comes out. Does he come out ahead of Magnum or not? It looks like the stream's playing up a little bit here. Ooh, that Alfa Romeo is not sure what's going on there. Going very slow. Magnum 0.3 seconds behind Luxty. Oh, taking that apex really, really tight. We've got Percy as well, who's going a little bit slow. Luxty back up into P3. That's a fantastic job from Luxty. Oh, just look how close that battle is between Magnum and Luxty. DRS now. Oh, he sails past the Alpine. Magnum up into P3. Luxty is late braking. Ooh, thought there might have been a bit of contact there between those two drivers, but Luxty does a fantastic job to avoid that contact. He's got DRS. Oh, Magnum's getting a little bit shaky there, but Luxty does try to get the move, but Magnum is not letting it go. Battling back hard. Just having a look now at Dirty Chewbacca on the back of Randy, 0.4 seconds. As Smoke has left the session. And Magnum is ahead of Luxty, with Luxty just 0.8 seconds behind. And RKA 25's got a 5-second gap to Thunderbuddy, who has went up 18 places. What an incredible start for Thunderbuddy. Oh, this could be Dirty Chewbacca's opportunity. Percy maybe slowing down Randy a little bit there, closing the gap between Randy and Dirty Chewbacca. 0.4 seconds. And Dirty Chewbacca is within DRS range as Luxty and Lord Magnum head into the pits. And it does look like there was a penalty given there. Penalty to Luxty, 5-second penalty. Dirty Chewbacca has got the move on Randy. Oh, side by side these two drivers are. Look at this. Randy's now battling back. Oh, what a battle between these two. Randy's got the move back on Dirty Chewbacca, and that is Randy back up into P3. iZombie, 10-second time penalty for speed limit, or for track limits. Flip me, must have cut half the bloody track to get that time penalty. Not sure what happened there. He's down into P11. Dirty Chewbacca keeping the pressure on Randy as they make their way up the hill. RIZE Speed's pitted really early for the hard tires, and he's done a fantastic job of getting himself back up into P5, so it looks like that strategy seems to be working quite well for him. As RIZE Ross heads into the pits. Dirty Chewbacca keeping Randy on his toes, still 0.5 second gap between the two drivers. Just have a look at the tires. Both drivers actually on 2-lap old medium tires, so it's like for like in terms of tires and strategy, and you can see that in the racing. It's very close between the two of them. Oh, Dirty Chewbacca did go a little bit wide there, it cost him some time. And he has just dropped out of DRS range there, so Dirty Chewbacca now down to 1.1 seconds. And just have a look now. Oh, Luxty and Count Dooku getting a little bit close there. And Luxty up into P9. Count Dooku remains where he started the race in P10. Randy sets the fastest lap time of the session there. He's starting to extend that gap to Dirty Chewbacca, now 1.6 seconds. His buckle goes a bit wide there, and that's cost him some time in his battle with iZombie. Actually, a lot of the drivers seem to have spread out a little bit. Just have a look at RKA25. I believe he still is going on those tires from when he started the race. Him and Thunderbuddy both haven't pitted yet. That's really impressive from both drivers. Thunderbuddy actually is on the soft tires, so them soft tires must be feeling it now. He's done 12 laps on the soft tires. He really probably wants to head into the pits at any moment before those tires explode. And RK25 again doing a fantastic job on those medium tires from the get-go. We've got Lou Powers heading into the pits, I believe, or just out of the pits. And out in P12. Thunderbuddy now on 13 laps on those soft tires. That is serious effort from him. I'm not sure how he's managing that. It's impressive. Gap between Randy and Dirty Chewbacca, 1.8 seconds, 1.9 seconds. It's remaining fairly static now. Dirty Chewbacca needing to think about what he can do to try and get that Red Bull onto the podium. It's Count Dooku, his teammates now heading in or out of the pits. And he comes out in P11, and Lou Powers not far behind. He also has Shuda in the Ferrari, also not too far ahead of him as well. Infinite's now caught up to the back of RIZE Speeds. Oh, he's getting a bit twitchy with the wheel there. .7 seconds between the two drivers. Infinite now within DRS range and may get the overtake on Speeds down this pit straight. Let's see what he can do. Speeds moving over, try and break that too, and Infinite is getting that overtake, and Infinite leads into turn 1. Speeds will get DRS so he can fight back here, and he is fighting back. He's not giving up that easy. Speeds back up into P5 on the hard tires, and Infinite is battling away back with him here. Oh, Infinite leading into the corner. What a fantastic battle between these two drivers. Ooh. Speed's catching up now, 0.2 seconds, but he's not close enough. RK25 is into the pits after his stint on the medium tires, and Thunderbuddy is still going on those soft tires. And so Thunderbuddy has pitted at the same time as RK25, who started the race on the medium tires, and Thunderbuddy started the race on soft tires. That is just insane how he's done that. Fair play. RK25 now comes out, and Dirty Chewbacca just ahead of him there. Thunderbuddy is coming out of the pits, and RK25 is going to lose some time here behind Dirty Chewbacca. He's going to want to try and get ahead of that Red Bull as quickly as he can. And the gap between Dirty Chewbacca and Randy has now actually extended to plus 2 seconds. And just having a look, RIZE Speeds has got that position back on Infinite, but it is still a very close battle between these two drivers. RK25 onto the hard tires. Interesting strategy. He's looking to do the one stop here. I think a lot of these guys will be trying to do a 2-stop, but RK25 seems to have committed himself here to a one-stop strategy. For the likes of Dirty Chewbacca and Randy, who are pitted for medium tires that aren't going to last to the end of the race, these guys are going to have to pit again. So it'll be interesting to see how this strategy all plays out between these drivers. RK25 does have DRS assistance down the pit straight. He is gaining on that Red Bull, but he does not look close enough to get the overtake into turn 1. Oh, he's still going for it anyway. But he can't get it. He's going to have a second attempt. DRS again for the Mercedes. He's closer this time. You can see the Red Bull is harvesting that ERS energy, and there we have it. The Mercedes has overtaken Dirty Chewbacca up into P2. Now he's got a 2.2 second gap to Randy that he needs to try and close in on. But Dirty Chewbacca will have slowed down RKA 25 there, probably a bit more so than what he would have liked. His Speeds was in the pits and has came out there with a set of medium tires, which is interesting because his teammate pitted only the lap before for a set of hard tires. So Speeds now has already done, I think, two stops. Yeah, 2 stops. Interesting strategy from Speeds. Not sure if that was a scheduled stop or if there was a little bit of contact whenever he was battling with Infinite, not entirely sure. But Dirty Chewbacca's doing a fantastic job keeping up with RKA 25 there. He is within DRS range of the Mercedes driver, and he's going to get DRS down the pit straight. And actually RKA is closing the gap to Randy. So what's actually happening is these guys are towing each other along. They're getting DRS on each other, and they're closing the gap between each other as well, which is really great to see. Dirty Chewbacca still within 0.5 seconds of RKA, who is closing the gap to Randy. Just 1.4 seconds now between the two drivers. And Magnum is also closing the gap to Infinite, 1.5 or 0.5 seconds now between the McLaren and the Aston Martin. Late break in there from Magnum. Oh, he gets side by side there with the Aston Martin, and he gets the overtake ahead of the DRS zone on Infinite. That was a very nice overtake. Oh, but he leaves the gap a little bit wide open there. Infinite is fighting back. He's got DRS and he's fighting back on that McLaren. And he's got the inside line there, and Infinite is back up into P5. Magnum down into P6 again. This is a fantastic battle between these drivers. 0.3 seconds between the two. And Magnum with some late braking to try and close that gap. Goes a little bit wide there. And just looking at the top three, look at how they have closed the gap. RKA 25, 0.7 seconds now off Randy, and Dirty Chewbacca 0.6 seconds off RKA 25. All of these drivers are now within DRS range of each other. They're closing that gap up. It's really exciting. It's making for closer racing between the cars. It is brilliant to see as Magnum is now very, very close to Infinite again, and he's going to get a second attempt on DRS. Let's see, will he get the overtake this time around? He's gaining, but it doesn't look like he's gaining fast enough. Infinite closes the door on the inside. Magnum is looking to go around the outside, but Infinite closes the door again, and he leads still into that corner. Infinite still in P5, Magnum in P6. Back to the battle here. Dirty Chewbacca is still 0.5 seconds off RKA 25. These drivers are still extremely close. Remember, Randy and Dirty Chewbacca on a very similar strategy. RKA 25 has went for a completely different strategy altogether there. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out in the closing stages of this race. Lord Magnum very close to Infinite again. Infinite is putting that Aston Martin in all the right spots to try and defend as much as he can, but Magnum is not making this job easy. He is just 0.2 seconds off. And RKA 25 is getting the move on Randy. RKA 25 on the hard tyres is back up into P1. Took him a little bit longer than he would have liked, but he is back in that spot. The question is, can he keep it? Because Randy is going to battle back now with DRS. And Dirty Chewbacca is just sitting in the background waiting for the right moment to strike. And Infinite is heading into the pits. Infinite comes out, and it does look like he's got a little bit of gap there between him and Speeds. Dirty Chewbacca still watching this fight between Randy and RKA from a little bit behind. Oh, the Red Bull going a bit wide there. Very close between the top three as it stands, but remember, Randy and Dirty Chewbacca still need to pit. There's Randy heading into the pits, and Dirty Chewbacca joins him. He does not want to wait much longer, and he closed that gap really quick on the pit entrance. I'm surprised he didn't get a 5-second penalty for speeding there. He was very risky indeed. As Randy is pulling out just ahead of him. Look how close it is between those drivers, and different strategies again. Randy, with 9 laps left, has opted for the soft tires. Dirty Chewbacca opting for the medium tires. This is really interesting to see how this one's going to play out. Remember, Dirty Chewbacca also has time penalties as well. Just having a look, it is only a 3-second time penalty, but Randy has no time penalties at the moment. As Lord Magnum takes a hop into the pits there, and he is making his way out with a fresh set of soft tires. He's dropping down the pecking order a little bit there, and he will come out in P8 behind Infinite. And Randy can hit the ground running on those soft tires. The medium tires are going to take a little bit longer to warm up, get that grip that Dirty Chewbacca needs. So you can see the gap has extended a little bit there between Randy and Dirty Chewbacca. And actually what's really interesting here is that Thunder Buddy did a very long stint on the soft tires. He then swapped to the medium tires on lap 12, I believe. And from what I'm seeing here, it does look like he's potentially going to try and make these medium tires last until the end of the race. Now that's a very left field strategy. He does have a 16-second gap between him and P3, so I believe that he thinks that he can hold Randy off. He can hold Randy at bay until the end of this race with 8 laps left to go. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out over the duration of the race. Just having a look now at Lou Powers, who is on the tail of Luxty, and Luxty's had a bit of a mixed race here. He's had a bit of a poor start, fought his way back, and he's actually dropped 3 places now from where he started the race. So it's not been the most ideal race for Luxty, especially considering the pace that he showed in qualifying. It showed that he had a lot of potential for more, but unfortunately it doesn't look like he's showing that at this stage. And Lou Powers heading into the pits. That frees Luxty up. Get going. And Shooter in the Ferrari goes a bit wide there. He's battling with Bucko. And Bucko holding the inside line. Oh, and Shooter gets ahead of Bucko. And you can see Lou Powers is about to come out here into this battle. And he actually slows right down to allow those cars past. That's very generous of him. Not making it difficult. And Randy has set the fastest lap time of the session, and he's closing that gap quite dramatically. It is down to 14 seconds now. He's also extending the gap between him and Dirty Chewbacca, now 3.3 seconds. Bearing in mind that those drivers both came out of the pits at exactly the same time, and it's now 3.5 seconds. So I think Dirty Chewbacca may be questioning his strategy with the medium tires a little bit. The question is, will those soft tires fall off a cliff a little bit? And that's when the mediums will start to kick in those closing stages, in those closing final laps. We'll see what happens, but it does look like Randy's got good control so far. He's even closed it down another second between him and Thunder Buddy, and he is hunting down Thunder Buddy in these final laps. Thunder Buddy 2.5 seconds now between him and RKA 25. Interesting, as Luxty has to take another trip into the pits. He does have a set of hard tires on, and he's swapping for a nice set of soft tires. he's going to come out in P11 still, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, Thunderbuddy's just ahead of him there. Oh, and there's Shuda and Lupars battling just behind him. Luxty was able to get out just ahead of him. He didn't want to be stuck behind those guys. That would have cost him some time there. So Luxty down in P11. He's got some fresh soft tyres on for the closing stint of this race. Be interesting to see, can he close that gap up a little bit. He does get a 3-second time penalty for his troubles though. And just having a look again, the gap between Dirty Chewbacca and Randy now extended to 5 seconds. But actually what's really interesting is Thunderbuddy's doing a fantastic job of actually keeping relatively within RKA 25. The gap was 2.5 seconds. It's now sub 2 seconds. I don't know how he's doing that on those tyres. Actually the medium tyres only has 7 laps on them, so we must have missed Thunderbuddy going for another pit stop. He's got 7-lap old medium tyres. RKA 25's got 7-lap old hard tyres, and actually Thunderbuddy is closing that gap quite quickly indeed. But he is under threat from Randy, who's also equally closing the gap between him and Thunderbuddy. It was 15 seconds, it's now close to 12 seconds. I'm not convinced that he's going to be able to catch up quick enough in the closing laps. You'd have to have flipping rocket fuel or something to be able to catch up, but he could be happy with P3 up 15 places, and even Thunderbuddy as well up 18 places from where he started as well. And Thunderbuddy's now stuck behind Luxty. That's not what he needs. You can see the gap between him and RKA 25 is actually growing again because he's sort of stuck in traffic now. Hopefully Luxty will move out of the way and allow the Ferrari past when it's safe to do so. Actually Luxty's now extending the gap between him and Thunderbuddy, so at the moment Thunderbuddy will remain put for now, but Randy again is closing the gap now down to 11 seconds. Luxty gets the fastest lap, and it does look like he's actually overtaken RK25. He's unlapped himself. Oh, RK25 is going to be not very happy with that at all. That's going to be slowing RK25 down and closing the gap between him and Thunderbuddy, and you can see it already happening. 1.6 seconds between these two drivers, and Luxty is causing some disruption here between these two drivers. This is not what RK25 needs. It's giving Thunderbuddy the opportunity to close the gap. There's Magnum pulling out alongside Infinite to get that overtake down the pit straight. And Magnum up into P7. Oh, there's contact there between the Haas of someone, Percy and Thunderbuddy. Not sure what was going on there. Luxty's gone off track as well after overtaking RK25. Luxty's gone right off track. 1.8 seconds between Thunderbuddy and RK25. Really close, 4 laps to go. Infinite still keeping close to Magnum there. He's getting close, but he's not close enough to get that overtake just yet. And Thunder Buddy is still keeping, you know, a close gap to RK25, but he's not making much of a dent in it. It's just remaining static for now. Does look like Percy is now just ahead of Magnum. He moves over quite nicely there to allow him and both him and Infinite past, which is good to see. Infinite with DRS assistance again. Shooter in the Ferrari. He's battling with Lupars. Still 0.7 seconds between the two drivers. Seems like Infinite is getting DRS on multiple occasions, but it's just not. It's not enough to put a dent in the gap between him and Magnum. It just remains at 0.8 seconds, and he goes a bit wide there. He has to slow right down to keep it within the track. And that has cost him time. You can see it's went from 0.8 seconds to 1.5 seconds between the two drivers. And actually, Thunder Buddy is starting to put a bit of a dent there in the gap between him and RK25. It is 1.3 seconds, but here's the trouble. RK25 does have King Smoke ahead of him in the Alfa Romeo, who is, looks like he's slowing down there, but that will have slowed down RK25. King Smoke now causing a little bit of a ruckus here for Thunder Buddy. Moves out of the way quite nicely. 1.2 seconds between Thunder Buddy and RK25 with just 2 laps left. That's all to play for. Thunder Buddy close. He's close to that DRS range, but he's not quite in there just yet. He may have just sneaked in. No, he's out for now, but he's close. And actually both drivers have around similar amount of ERS. Thunder Buddy is battling as hard as he can here. He wants to get this race win. He's still just outside the DRS range. Hopefully he can get a little bit of a tool here down the pit straight. Doesn't seem to be doing much for him at the minute. Their speed's closing up on Smokeman. Oh, the rear end there. Thunder Buddy just going a little bit light there. It's the last lap, and Thunder Buddy does get a 3-second penalty. He's giving it everything he can. He's throwing everything but the kitchen sink at RK25, and RK25's done a fantastic job of withstanding that pressure. And you know, on the last lap, does look like he is going to take the victory here in the opening round of Season 2 RIZE Racing League Division 2. Fair play to RK25. He's done a brilliant job. And RIZE Speeds is up into P5. He got the move on Smokeman, and that does put both McLarens in 6th and 7th. And that was a great effort from Speeds there in the final lap to get the overtake done. And it is the final corner for the Mercedes driver, RK25, making his way down the pit straight. He can celebrate, he can breathe. He's got the race win. Thunderbuddy crosses the line in P2. A tremendous effort from him. Randy now next across the line. A little bit of showboating here from the Alfa Romeo driver, up 15 places from where he started the race into P3. That makes up your podium places. You can see Dirty Chewbacca quite a bit off from the other drivers, 26-second gap between him and Randy, but equally up 1 place from where he started. Fantastic effort from Dirty Chewbacca. He has some great battles with Randy, and unfortunately will have to settle for P4 in this case. He should be happy with it, but there is plenty more where that came from. And RIZE Speeds P5, and Smokeman moves up into P5, Speeds into P6, Magnum drops down into P8 as a result of time penalties, Infinite into P7, Count Dooku into P9 where he started the race. And that does appear to be it. That's the race. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll be back tomorrow with coverage of our Division 3 race. It will be same time, same track in Bahrain, opening race. See you guys then.